Did I say my name? No, right? I don't have to say I'm Kyle Milan. I'm Kyle Milan, and you need to watch my LinkedIn lives because you're gonna learn some shit, and sometimes I'm funny. Damn. Don't do what I say, just watch what I do and duplicate it. I haven't spent 22 years in manufacturing to not know what I'm talking about. You need to watch my content. Kristen, Kyle, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having us. Come on.
Just wrapping up our trip, 3 days. And the big takeaway here is I never travel any place just to see one person. So when you sales guys are out there traveling, you need to then try and find 1 or 2 or 3 other people to see.
The commodity manager of Electrolux wanted me to text her. That was her preferred method of contact. She was getting 200 emails a day. She said, just text me. This was 5 years ago. I'm like, okay. Literally could get her every time.
What's up, guys? Kyle Milan here with Manufacturing Tribe TV. Today we're at MB&M Minneapolis show.
You're always going to remember that person that was different than everybody else. So let's talk standing out and being unique.
We're back with another episode. We've increased some of our production value, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Brett's got a question. How segmented do you make the emails every 2 to 4 weeks? Are you sending to the broad group of contacts or do you customize? I think that you could do it both ways, but I think in general, everybody needs to see your content. Everybody needs to see something that you're creating and something that you can provide value to.
You can tell a story a whole lot faster in a 3-minute video than you can in a 14-page article or 10 2-page articles.
Everything's about brand awareness and content right now, and it will continue to be that. So focus on producing some sort of content, and if you're selling B2B, which I'm assuming most people here are, focus on LinkedIn.
Number one, we do not charge for this stuff. I put all of my content out there for free. Send it to somebody that you feel may get some value out of it, and also engage. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We'll get to all of the comments after the break. Those comments mean the world to us because it shows that you guys care. So don't just sit there and watch, but please engage and hit those thumbs on LinkedIn.
What is up, guys? I'm Kyle Milan. It's Tuesday, but today we are doing our live because yesterday was a holiday. Happy holiday, America, for those of you that are patriots like myself. So, guys, we come live twice a week, typically on Mondays, Q&A time, where we answer questions that were sent in to askkyle@mfgtribe.com or comments that have been left on the YouTube channel, LinkedIn posts, LinkedIn videos, things like that. We answer those on today's show. On Wednesday shows, which will be tomorrow, we talk about either technical sales or industrial marketing because that's pretty much all that I know. And we'll be posting that link after today's show. So be sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel with your notifications on. Connect with me on LinkedIn. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, but you're not here to try and sell me some shit, then send me a connection request and I will accept it on LinkedIn. So today we've got the blind response to the questions. I think we have 4, right, Laura? We have 4 questions that came through. I don't know what they are. Hopefully they're good. The team says that they're good. Let's kick it over to Laura and see how good these questions are.
All right. The first question today, any tips for a recent graduate trying to get into industrial and mechanical sales engineering?
All right. So this is such a common question. I feel like that I answer this like until my head's going to explode, but I'm going to keep on answering it because you guys keep on asking the same question. So if you are a recent grad and you have some sort of engineering degree, you really have 2 paths to get into sales and technical sales. Number one is take that engineering degree and go into any sort of sales support role, whether that's a project engineer, a sales associate, a support engineer, somebody that's supporting the sales team. So you got, if you're in industrial and manufacturing, you've got the sales team that's out there, sales engineers, business dev managers, biz dev specialists, whatever their title is. You got them out in the field selling, and then they want to kick it back to the support team of project engineers, quoting engineers, things like that. They're going to support them to take the prospect from a prospect into a customer. So if you can't get into it from a sales standpoint, then you want to go into those support roles. Now, those of you that are selling tech in SaaS and things like that, I know that I always get these comments like, oh, that's not a sales engineer. A sales engineer is different when you come to SaaS and software and stuff like that. It's all pretty much the same. Whether your title is different, it doesn't matter. The person selling, I'm sure they have support teams on the software side, product engineer, sales support engineer, something like that. Take your technical knowledge and turn it into a support position to support the sales team. That's one, going to give you experience with a company in the industry that you want to work in. Number two, that's going to give you experience in their sales process and understanding the product and the service that you're trying to sell. And then when opportunity comes up, you want to slide into a sales position. It's a lot easier for an employer to be like, I'm going to take Joe, who's a product engineer or a project engineer, and I'm going to slide him into a sales position. That's a very common path, especially in industrial manufacturing. Being a project engineer or project manager that has a technical mindset and has technical experience to support the salesperson, for them to then go into a sales role, it's like the first place that if I'm a manager, I'm a VP of sales and marketing, I'm going to look at that support team and say, which one of you wants to go into sales? Because it's going to be a shorter path to get you up to speed and start selling if you know how to sell. Now, what I would say is that if you're going directly after a sales role, the salesperson is going to ask you hard questions. Going to be like, hey, man, you don't have any sales experience. What makes you think that you can compete with the guys that do have sales experience? This is when you could say, hey, look, I know I don't have a lot of sales experience, but I follow this dude, Kyle Milan, and he's got this company called Technical Sales University, TSU, and I took his course and I learned all this information. Here's my notebook of information on how to prospect, how to pitch, how to sell, how to build lists, how to use social to influence. And I got all this from Technical Sales University, and I've already started to build up my connections on LinkedIn with people that I could potentially help and improve and offer them services or products that will help solve their problems for them within demographics that I feel like you guys would want to go after, or you currently do go after. I started already building up my profile, man. That's how I would answer the question if you have no sales experience. Or you could say, I did an internship. Go into an internship for a manufacturing company and try and just do a sales support role, right? There's so many different opportunities. Go and ask to work for free in a sales support role or in a project engineer role to try and get some sort of experience in that industry so you're not super green, and it's a shorter path to that resistance of like, this person's going to take a long time to understand. But I would say first and foremost, go to technicalsalesu.com. We'll put a link in the comment section. Check that out. Buy the training course. It's like under $1,000 to get 8 hours of video content of me explaining exactly how to go from I know nothing to I know everything about sales and technical sales. Or if you've been doing it for a few years, we've had people that have been selling for 20 years go to TSU and be like, dude, I learned so much. Some of it was a refresher for me. Some of it I didn't even know that I could do, or I didn't know that you could do this to get the sale. That is what I would say is my answer. Next question.
Okay. Question number 2. I'm trying to generate leads with large companies. When I call, I'm transferred to someone that barely has enough time to even give me the company email. What can I do to make these people understand that I'm worth their time?
Yeah, so that's the whole gatekeeper question. So you've got a gatekeeper, right? Somebody that answers the phone. A lot of times this stuff's automated at big companies. So if you are talking to somebody, the first thing I would do is understand, like you already know they barely have any time. Like they're just flipping through the phone, answering it. They barely have any time. Relate with them on that. Get down to the personal level. You're not looking to try and just pull information from them. You're trying to have some sort of initial conversation where you can be personable and you can relate to them. Like, look, hey, what's your name? Your name's Susie. Hey, Susie, I know that you get 1 million of these phone calls. This is what I used to do. I know you get 1 million of these phone calls of people being like, hey, can I get the email address for this person? Look, I'm trying to make this conversation as short and sweet and to the point as possible. Can you tell me who's in charge of this? Oh, make them laugh. Tell them a joke. Be like, how many times have you answered this question in the last week? Like, get them to open up a little bit to spend 30 seconds with you, because time is money to them and they've got to run through all of those phone calls that come in. So understand that and just be like, try and tell a joke, try and get to relate to them. Be like, can you tell me who's in charge of this? If they don't know the answer, try and rephrase the question. Like, if I was to say, I want to handle all the cleaning services at your facility. Is that handled by somebody in operations? Yeah, I think the cleaning services, that'd probably be Joe, who's our operations manager. Okay, great. Can you give me Joe's last name? And then just leave it at that. Don't try and ask for 5 things in the initial conversation. His name is Joe Smith, and he's in operations. Now that you have that information, you can go and do some research on your own. Now, if your company pays for an elite service like zoominfo.com, then you can just go and search it, get his phone number and his email. If you don't have that, you go to LinkedIn. Once you have a name, all you need to do is go to LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn, look up who that person is, look at their title, and then send a connection request to them. You're not trying to sell them, you're just trying to send a connection request. Then you can call back the next day or 2 days later and be like, hey, I'm trying to get in touch with Joe Smith. I've left him a couple of voicemails, but I'm thinking that maybe he's not at his desk a lot. Is there any chance you can give me his email address? A lot of times they're going to say no. And you can Google search and try and find it, or try and find somebody else that has the same, somebody else that works at that company and be like, oh, so how are they doing emails at that company? Is it first name dot last name at their domain? Is it first initial last name at the domain? Is it just their last name? Is it last name dot first name? Once you figure that out, it's typically a good process to say, I'm going to assume that it's the same for other people. That's usually how the company IT departments do it. Sometimes they'll do something like, well, that person has a hyphenated name or a split name, or they're like a Mick something or a Van something. Sometimes they'll do those a little bit differently. Or if they have 2 people with the same name, Joe Smith, maybe one of them's Joe M. Smith because they're using middle initial. Like, there's a lot of different ways to do it. But first and foremost, just try and get one piece of information from that person every single time that you call. But you can't be like, all right, hey, it's me, I'm back. It's Kyle again. Hey, Susie, I'm sure your day's busy. Last week I asked you for the name. This week I'm going to ask you for his extension or for his email address. Don't play it off like that. Get the name, ask if you could be connected to them, their extension, to leave them a voicemail. Leave them the voicemail. Try and find them on LinkedIn. Send them a connection request. Hey, Joe, just left you a voicemail. Wanted to connect with you on here because I think we could provide some valuable content. Then once they accept the connection request, then you can start sending them pieces of information. Not from a sales standpoint, you're trying to provide value. So, hey, we just wrote this article, we have this video, whatever. I'm going to shoot it over to you. I think you might get some value out of it. Delay the direct sale until after you provided some piece of valuable information to them. I forget the question, but I think that was the answer. Laura, was that good?
Yeah, I would say that was a pretty good answer.
Laura's like, Kyle, you were rambling on that. We're like 12 minutes in.
I got the third question today. It's kind of similar to the other one, but maybe you can give a more detailed answer.
Let's go.
If I'm writing a sales email, how can I stand out as real and not spam? Is it too much to take a friendly or humorous approach instead of a professional one?
Okay, so you don't want to seem like automation, which I understand, because on the flip side of it, marketers, we're trying automation not to seem like automation, to seem more personal, and you're trying to circumvent that. I would say, so like there's a couple things out there, I get hit with these a lot, but people are doing these things where it's like a GIF of you holding up a notebook with their name on it, and it's like, hey, John, and like I literally just got one this morning, which there's some automation plays there where they can change the name on it at a quick speed to where it doesn't look like you just recorded video. If you want to get super personal and really show that you're not automation, because not many people are using this automation trick of shooting a generic video that looks like it's going to be personal to you, but it's not. But there's a company called Vidyard that HubSpot integrates with, to where you can shoot a video. I would say if you want to be super personal, shoot a video from either from your phone or from your computer webcam, and just be like, hey, Joe, it's Susie or it's John. I just wanted to send this quick personalized video to explain that, like, I went through your website, or I saw that you guys are doing this, and this is how we can improve this, or you guys have this service. Have you ever had any issues with this aspect of it? Do you need somebody to clean your facility? Do you need somebody to come in and update your ISO registration? Whatever it is, if you shoot a video, that is the most personal. That's the best way to stand out, and just put it in there like, hey, I just shot this video. Click the link below, or if you can have the image of you in there, as a thumbnail that they click and open. There's tons of softwares out there to where you can quickly go through it. I think it's Vidyard, which integrates with HubSpot. They're integrated to where you can shoot the video and send it an email right away. That's a great tool. I'm sure that there's dozens others out there, but you want to look for video email marketing software to capture a video live. That, if you really want to stand out, that's the best way to do it, because sending text, it's like, I was just on your website, and then like from an automation standpoint, I've done that so many times where it's like, I was just on your website, and then put in parentheses what their website is. That's just pulled from a variable within the database of like HubSpot or whatever, where it says insert website for this company name, insert company name. You can do that at scale. It's not really that personal. So if you really want to stand out, shoot a video or connect with them on LinkedIn and then shoot a video and send it to them on LinkedIn. That will definitely get you noticed. Was that specific and targeted enough, Laura?
I would say it was.
All
That
right,
was
perfect.
a really good answer.
Thanks.
All right. I have one more question that was sent in.
Fourth question, then we go to the comments. So you guys better be leaving comments in the comment section for anybody that is watching this to make sure that you get your questions asked today.
Okay, the last question I have for you today. How would you suggest I convince my company to start doing LinkedIn Lives?
That is a good question. I was just on a call with a prospect out of Germany this morning. I mentioned LinkedIn Live, and they're like, and they're a huge company, like multiple billions. So how do you convince your company? The best way to convince an industrial manufacturing company, that, keep in mind, like, you always have to understand the mindset of who you're trying to sell to, right? People are like, I'm not a salesman. Everybody's a salesman. Whether you're selling your boss on a promotion, you're selling your spouse on doing something they don't want to do, everybody is in sales. So you look at it from a sales standpoint. What is their mindset? What are they used to? What types of obstacles are they going to have to overcome? What are they going to say back to you when you ask them this question? You have to have the foresight to be able to say, this is what I know what they're going to say. So how can I craft this in a way that gets them to respond positively to my question or something that I need? You always have to think about it from that standpoint. Manufacturing and industrial people, they are old school. And by old school, I mean they're using traditional media, traditional marketing, typically, where they're just used to doing it the same way that they've always done it. Email marketing, some of them still do it. They think that it's okay, but it's not great. Are they doing videos? No, not the way that like MFG Tribe does videos, where we're doing like 50 of them a year for a company. They're doing like one every couple of years, and they spend 10 grand on it. So they're not doing videos. They're not doing anything progressive with LinkedIn. So if you come to them and you're like, hey, I think we should do LinkedIn Live, they're going to be like, I don't really know. So knowing that, go in and do it yourself at a personal level. Apply to be a LinkedIn broadcaster from your personal profile, and then just go live. They can't stop you from going live on your LinkedIn profile, right? So go into it and be like, I'm going to come up with a show. The show's going to be, I go live once a week, and it's going to be the stories about what I see as I visit factories and companies and plants throughout the US on a weekly basis, and problems that I solve, or the top 5 issues I faced this week, or my customers have faced this week, to overcome these obstacles. Whatever it is, you're going to do it on your own, and you're just going to go out and do it once, and then do it a second time, and then do it 4, 5, 6 times, and then look at the results. And then you go to them and you say, look, boss, I've been doing these LinkedIn Lives. I know you're not on LinkedIn a lot, so you probably haven't seen them, but I've been doing these LinkedIn Lives, and I got to tell you, man, it's been pretty good. I've gotten a couple people that said, hey, we need that too, or that's the same issue that I have, and it sparked a few conversations. I really think that we should invest into doing LinkedIn Lives from the company page, because we have more followers, or because we can reach a broader audience, or because then we can expand the scope of it. And I was listening to Kyle Milan's videos and noticed that his company does this for other companies, and we want to bring in MFG Tribe to manage our LinkedIn Lives for us. And so that way it's taking the ownership. They're not fearful. It's like, I've got somebody else that's going to do this. Or if you're just going to do it on your own, you're like, dude, I'm an expert now. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it from the company page. First, come to them with the results of saying, I've already done this 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times. This is what came from it. Now, if you do it 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times and nothing comes from it, nobody watches it, nobody goes through, nobody asks you questions, no brand awareness campaigns have increased, nobody's come into your pipeline, then you want to make sure that don't go to them and say, I tried it, it failed. Like, I know it's going to work for you. Then you just adjust your strategy. You need to send invites out. You need to build your network more, get connection requests out to people that you can potentially help, and then send out those invites, which we're going to have to do. We should do a whole video topic on LinkedIn Lives. Like, put that down as a thought, like how to do a LinkedIn Live from start to finish and how to get a lot of eyes on it. We'll do a video later about it, so make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel. But once you get some results, then you go to them and say, I want to do this with the support of the company and do it from the company page. And this is what I'm expecting. Can you just let me try it for, I don't know, let me try it once a week for 2 months. If nothing comes from it, I won't ask you again, but I've got this strategy that I've learned from Kyle that I think can work, and I want to try implementing it. So that is the answer. But first, do it yourself and prove the results and give them something to think about, because they're just going to poo-poo on and be like, LinkedIn Live, that's for influencers. That's not going to work. That's typically what they're going to say. So that's what I would do. And from a topic standpoint, before we switch to the commercial break, from a topic standpoint, on the call I had today with this company out of Germany, it was like, what are we going to talk about? I don't know if I've got personalities that are as cool as you, Kyle, to be able to talk on camera. I'm like, look, you've got product development engineers, you've got marketing managers, you've got VPs of engineering. They give presentations to potential customers, right? Yes, they do. They do them through video, right? Where they're going through a pitch deck. Yes, they do. That is exactly what you could do on a LinkedIn Live. Take the person that's used to talking to people through a video camera. The only difference is that they're not going to get that instant feedback, right? Because there's delays, and because people won't always attend, and because there's going to be comments, you don't want to be reading through the comments. So they're not going to have a person that's like, hey, Joe, I've got a question about that slide. Like, it's not going to come in that live format. But if you've already got people that are used to doing that, they could do that on a live. So just be like, hey, I just need 2 people that can give a 15-minute pitch. This week, we're going to talk about this service or this product. I'm going to use the product development engineer. I'm going to use the VP of engineering, whatever it is. You're going to give the presentation. Somebody else is going to manage the actual live. You don't have to answer all the questions, but if you, once you get comfortable, you can, that come through. And then next week, I'm going to take this person, this design engineer, this operations manager, and they're going to talk about this service or this product that we offer. That's all it is you're trying to provide relevant information. It's basically like doing a webinar, but live for public people to see. I mean, that's basically what it is. Once I explain it to them, they're like, oh my God, that's a great idea. We're not doing that, and neither are our competitors. Boom. There we go. That's a potential customer that we will probably close in the next few weeks. So, all right. Is that it for the predetermined questions? All right, guys, we're going to take a short commercial break. Leave your comments in the comment section below. We will answer them when we come back. And if we don't have any questions, then I'm going to go on about my day. We'll be right back.
Polyurethane should actually last you, depending upon the application, 5 to 10 years, maybe 15. In some cases, we've heard 20. It's our job to make sure that we give you the correct formulation.
Whatever the customer needs, we figure out what properties will fill that application, and then we formulate accordingly. Sometimes that's TDI, sometimes it's MDI, ether or ester. The various curatives impart different physical properties, and we also can blend the curatives to kind of tweak those properties to optimize what the customer wants.
I like being a part of that process. I like it when our customers can buy a product from us and have that confidence, you know, that the folks at PSI Urethanes, they got us what we needed. They asked the right questions, and it makes me feel good. I know it makes our staff feel good knowing that we're providing peace of mind for our customers, and our customers are having a good experience with theirs.
What we're going to do is we're not only going to get you the right product, but we're going to save you from having to repeat buy in a short period of time, and or save you downtime, and or save you manpower. That's why it's important to pick the right formula.
Back. Was that time good? Yeah, we're back. Laura's giving me a thumbs up. All right, let's go to the comments. If we have any.
I have a few. from BAM Media. Hey Kyle, I am a regional sales manager for a reliability company. We're expanding on LinkedIn and it's pricey, but the best place to advertise. Any place besides LinkedIn? In my opinion, Industry 4.0 hangs out on LinkedIn. In industrial sales, there's only LinkedIn.
So is that the question?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
if
is
that's
it
the best place to advertise, if you think.
BAM Media. What's up, BAM? Hopefully that's an acronym for something. Yeah, LinkedIn's the best, dude. Was there a name to it or no? Just BAM Media. BAM Media. LinkedIn is the best, man or woman. When I say man or dude, I mean both genders. Yeah, LinkedIn's the best. Like if you're trying to target people B2B, especially in industrial manufacturing, you can go down the path of like find a manufacturing.com type place and do some display advertising. But no place else gives you the strategic and specific reach that LinkedIn does to be able to say, like, hey, I'm going after these 100 companies, 200 companies in this region, this title, this job function, whatever it is, and I only want these people to see these advertising. Nobody else can do that for you except for LinkedIn. So I would say, if I were you, I would couple a strategic PPC or advertising campaign with a strategic organic campaign. So while you've got this list of people you're trying to go after that are seeing your ad, you should also at the same time go after them organically by saying, hey, I'm going to try and send connection requests, connect with these people, send them good information, provide them information that's of value at the same time. So that way, when they do see the ad, they're like, oh yeah, some dude from that company just sent me something. That's what I would say is the best path with any sort of advertising. You have to focus on organic. Even though you're doing advertising, you have to say, I'm doing both channels because I want to try and reach them organically. So when they see my ad, it's a little bit more relevant. It's a little bit warmer. And if the flip side of it, they see my ad, they've seen the brand already, then they get a connection request organically, or they see something organically, it's the same thing. They're like, I've already seen that company. This dude's trying to connect with me. Is he going to try and sell me something right away? Hopefully not. Hopefully you guys are trained to be able to provide value first before you ask for the sale. But that's it, man. LinkedIn is the best for that. So get out that pocketbook because you're probably going to have to spend, I don't know if you're trying to sell them marketing services or trying to sell them industrial services, but realistically, $1,500 and above is what you need to spend to be able to really start making hay on LinkedIn. For like $500, you probably won't get the best return on that investment. Any last minute questions?
Oh, I got plenty today.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Man, I was hoping to get out of here at 12:30 to move on with the other video stuff we have to do, but I will stick around.
I've also got another little comment from BAM Media. They said, I'm trying to become a LinkedIn Live influencer. My personal page is successful, but I need my business page to thrive. And they also want to know how they can get in contact with PSI because they sound like a great company, they say.
Okay. So number one, I would say ditch the word influencer. Like I hate that word. Everybody's an influencer on LinkedIn. I've seen people with like 1,200 followers or connections on LinkedIn, and they put in their headline, I'm a LinkedIn influencer. Influencing what? Like, who cares about an influencer? That's some mainstream bullshit that people try and pull into LinkedIn because you are an influencer already. Every single person in the world is an influencer. You can influence, if you break it down, what is an influencer? I can influence somebody to do something. I can influence Laura to do something just because I'm her coworker, right? You can influence the people around you. If you're positive and upbeat, you can influence the people around you. If you're negative and like a cancer in a company, you can influence people around you. So first off, I would say drop the influence thing. Just be like, look, I'm trying to help a lot of people, right? If that's what you're trying to do, is I want to help people do whatever. The thing is, Google search how to become a LinkedIn Live. Like there's a very basic application process where you have to say, I want to be a LinkedIn Live for this profile, for this company page. Here, answer these questions through LinkedIn, and then you can fill it out, and then they'll either approve you or deny you. A lot of times they'll just, at this point, the beta testing has been done. They've already offered it to people that produce a lot of content to flush out all of the issues with it. Most people these days are being approved to stay live. Now, if you don't go live, if you get approved and you never use it, they could pull that away because they don't want everybody. They're not like Facebook where everybody can go live at any point in time. It is still somewhat restricted to making people jump through hoops. So that answers that part of the question. The second part of the question, talking about how do you boost the company page versus your personal profile, produce content on the company page and then share it out through your personal profile, create exclusive content for the company page. Be like, hey, I know you guys love seeing my post, but if you want this other thing, this new campaign I'm doing, it's going to be on my personal or on my company page. So you have to follow the company page in order to see that content. Now, if you are an admin, which I'm assuming you are of your company page, you can send out and have up to 100 pending invitations for people to follow your company page. So you go over to that side of it, invite people to my company page, you click through the people, you send it out. As one person rejects it or accepts it, now you've got one open slot. You can go through and withdraw them and things like that. But you've got 100 pending connection, 100 pending company page follows at any point in time as of right now as we're shooting this. So I would definitely do that. But if like our company page, we've got, I don't know, 600-700 followers to it. I still go live on my personal profile because I've got a bigger reach. Like that's what it comes down to is I've got 1,000 followers on my personal profile. I've got 1/10 of that on the company page. I'm going to use my personal profile to get the message out there. I don't care about how many people are following the company page. As long as people are getting the answers to their questions, as long as I'm providing value, whether it's through my own personal profile or through the company page, that's all that matters. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, they also did ask how they can get in contact with PSI Urethanes, if you know any help on that.
Go to psiurethanes.com and fill out the contact us form or grab their whatever it is, info at or sales at, and just, I would say, email them. Either email them, call them. That's the best way to do it.
Okay, and then I have a question in here from Generic Felipe. He says, do you know how security clearances can integrate into sales engineering?
Okay, so security clearances in sales engineering, I mean, I guess the question is it beneficial for a sales engineer to have security clearances? Yeah, I mean, if you need it, right? If you're like trying to sell something where you need a security clearance, then yes, it would help. I know nothing about that. I have the lowest level of security clearance. But I would say only like if you already have security clearance, are you trying to be like, hey, potential future employee, I've got security clearance ABC or level 7. You should hire me. If that's not of value to them, if they're not going to use it for anything, then it doesn't matter. Then it's not even worth having it. But I would say try and find a job where you can sell things that require a security clearance. And I'm sure you could do that just by searching for jobs and putting a requirement at whatever security clearance is out there, and then go after those jobs.
Looks like BAM Media chimed in on that and said their security clearance allowed them to close Raytheon for multiple facilities coast to coast.
Yeah, so there you go. Like BAM Media has some security clearance that help them get into the aerospace, which, like I said, like if it's beneficial, then yes, use it. But if it's not going to benefit you, then don't try and push that you have it, I guess. I can tell you that like if you are working for Raytheon and you're doing government contract stuff, like I'm sure the government's going to be like, hey, all of your employees have to have at least this basic level. Sure, if that's applicable, but if it's not applicable, there's no point of having it or trying to push it. Laura's got her hands up, so she's like, that's all I got. So guys, if you have any last minute questions, there's a 30-second delay. Leave them in the comments section. There's always one person at the end of the show, right as we close out, that's like, wait a minute, I have a question. So this is called the filler section, where I'm going to talk about basically nothing and ramble for those last questions that come in, so that way we can see it before I do my standard outro. If you guys aren't following me on YouTube, go to the YouTube channel. Over 250 videos on there. If you're into podcasts, go to the podcast, Technical Sales and Marketing with me. And if you get value out of it, leave a review. If you guys get value out of the show, leave a comment. Tell somebody that you know. For every single episode that you've seen, if you're like, that guy provided value to me today, tell one person that you know for every single episode that you watch or see. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Unless you're trying to sell me some shit that I don't need, then I'm just going to reject it. Laura, we have another question. Laura's still got her hands up, so we are good to close out. Guys, we come live twice a week, Mondays and Wednesdays. Be sure to tune into our live tomorrow where we'll be talking about something. related to sales and marketing once I figure it out after the show. As always, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to it, turn on notifications, and we will see you on the next one.